Not magically, socially. People noticed them walking together, sitting together, existing in a way that felt complete rather than provisional. Whispers returned, but they were duller now, less curious. Lucia had stopped caring whether she was legible to others. Her magic responded to that, growing calmer, deeper. She no longer tore through realities when she crossed. She slid. Once, she brought Isabella with her. They stood in a version of the riverbank where the water glowed faintly, like it remembered sunlight from somewhere else. Isabella did not panic. She did not question her sanity. She took in the details slowly, eyes sharp but steady. "So this is what you mean?" she said. Lucia nodded. "This is one of the gentle ones." Isabella knelt and touched the water, then looked up, smiling softly. "You were always like this," she said. "You just learned the word late." The way she said it undid something in Lucia, not dramatically, quietly, like a knot loosening after years of being pulled tight. The sensuality between them did not arrive as urgency. It arrived as awareness. Lucia noticed the sound Isabella made when she laughed with her whole chest. The warmth of her thigh pressed against Lucia's during long carless bus rides. The way Isabella's attention did not scatter, did not demand explanation, did not turn fear into spectacle. When they finally kissed, it was not sudden. It was the result of accumulation. They were standing in the kitchen again, late, hands brushing as they reached for the same cup. Isabella's fingers lingered. Lucia didn't pull away. Their mouths met with intention, slow and exploratory, not claiming, listening. Lucia felt her magic stir, not to escape but to anchor. The world did not thin. It thickened, present and exact. Isabella rested her forehead against Lucia's afterward, breathing her in. "This doesn't scare me," she said. Lucia believed her. That night, Lucia dreamed of the childhood game again. Children crawling, eyes closed, hands searching. This time, when the count ended, no one opened their eyes. They stayed still, trusting the witch to reveal herself when ready. After the kiss, nothing rushed. That was the most startling part. Lucia had expected the world to react. A flare, a slip between places. Instead, the days continued as they always had, only warmer, more exact, as if everything had been waiting for her to stop bracing. She and Isabella did not name what they were doing. They moved around each other with a familiarity that felt earned rather than claimed. Touch became incidental but intentional. A hand at the small of Lucia's back when they crossed the street, fingers brushing hair away from her face without asking. The weight of Isabella's leg pressed against Lucia's on the couch, steady and present. Lucia noticed that her crossings grew rarer, not because the ability faded, but because the need shifted. When she did pass through now, it was often without leaving her body fully behind. She would feel the pull, see the seam, and choose not to open it. She was learning restraint, and it felt like devotion. Matteo did not disappear entirely. He arrived in dreams first, uncertain and flickering, as if unsure he was allowed to be there. Then, once, impossibly, Lucia saw him standing at the edge of the fields in her own world. Thinner, older, eyes hollowed by a disappointment he still wore like a bruise. "You left too easily," he said. Lucia felt no urge to explain herself. "I stayed too long," she replied. He faded without anger, without forgiveness, just absence. The worlds began pressing closer together. Lucia felt it in her bones. Nights stretched strangely, the stars rearranged faster than they should have. Isabella noticed too, though she lacked words for it. "It feels like something is breathing," Isabella said once, hand resting over Lucia's heart. "Not you, around you." Lucia nodded. They're curious. About what? About what happens when you don't choose them. They lay together for the first time during a rainstorm that came out of nowhere. The roof leaked in 3 places. They moved the mattress closer to the wall and laughed softly, conspirators against inconvenience. When Isabella touched her, it was reverent but unafraid. Lucia felt seen not as something powerful or fragile, but as something worthy of pleasure. The magic stayed quiet, coiled low, attentive rather than reactive. Their bodies learned each other slowly. No urgency, no proving, just presence. Afterward, Lucia cried without knowing why. Isabella held her without comment, fingers tracing slow circles on her back. You don't have to be extraordinary with me, Isabella murmured. You already are. The words lodged deep. The next crossing came without warning. Lucia woke standing in the childhood field, dirt cool beneath her palms. Children crawled around her, eyes closed, counting under their breath. She realized with a start that she was the witch again. But she did not hide. She stood and waited. When the children opened their eyes, they did not point. They did not run. They looked at her with recognition, not fear. You stayed, one said. Lucia woke gasping, Isabella's arm heavy across her waist and anchoring her to this world. The pressure grounded her completely. She did not slip again. By morning, Lucia knew something was ending. The town felt dense, like a held breath. Her Aunt Maribel came by unannounced, carrying bread and concern. You're glowing wrong, she said bluntly. Lucia smiled. I'm choosing. Maribel nodded slowly. That's the hardest kind of magic. That night, Lucia felt the final pull. The worlds offered themselves, eager, insistent. Infinite versions where she could matter endlessly, where she could be untethered. Isabella slept beside her, breathing deep and even. Lucia understood then that magic did not require escape. It required commitment. She closed her eyes and refused the opening. Something screamed, distant and disappointed. The world held. End of part 3. When you're ready, say continue and I'll deliver part 4, the ending. Here is part 4, the ending. No spectacle, no punishment, no destiny speech. Just choice, consequence, and a love that does not need to be explained to exist. After Lucia refused the opening, the world did not collapse. That surprised her. She had expected consequence to arrive immediately, a cost she could name, a visible loss. Instead, things loosened. Time resumed its normal weight. The stars returned to their slow patience. The air stopped pressing. What changed was quieter. The crossings did not disappear, but they receded, like a language she still understood but no longer needed to speak daily. When she reached for the seam, it resisted her gently now, as if asking for intention instead of impulse. She was still a witch. She was simply no longer a door left ajar. Lucia told Isabella everything in pieces, over time. About the game, about the other worlds, about Matteo and the way love can fail not from cruelty, but from cowardice. Isabella listened without interrupting, without trying to solve what did not need solving. I don't need to be special to stay, Isabella said once. I just need to be here. They made a life that did not look impressive from the outside. Mornings at the panaderia, afternoons in the fields, evenings cooking together, hands brushing, bodies moving around each other with ease learned through repetition. Sometimes Lucia felt the old pull, especially when things hurt. When money was tight, when people whispered, when the town remembered how to be small. She never left without telling Isabella. And sometimes she didn't leave at all. They returned to the childhood field together once, walking rather than arriving. The grass was shorter now, the dirt packed hard. No children played there. Lucia lay down and closed her eyes anyway. Isabella followed. They counted together, slowly, and when they opened their eyes, there was no witch to find. Only themselves. Lucia realized then that the game had never been about exposure. It had been about recognition. The witch was the one who knew when to stay still. Years later, when her Aunt Maribel passed, Lucia felt the world stir again, curious and hungry. She lit candles, she cried, she stayed. Isabella's hand on her back was enough. Magic did not leave Lucia, it settled. It became something she carried without spectacle, something she used to heal, to listen, to choose. Sometimes, late at night, she felt a presence watching from the edge of things. Not angry, just aware. She did not look back. The love she had found did not demand she disappear to be extraordinary. It asked her to remain. And Lucia finally knew the difference.